Welcome to Confirmation Bias, presented by the League Ambassadors.
I'm Ambassador Junior Blue, and I didn't know the Kardashian curse could reach the front office, but Ben Simmons starts dating Kendall, and all hell breaks loose. And that's my confirmation bias.
Damn. Wowzers. I'm Ambassador Dad, and after tomorrow, we could very well only have baseball to watch for the rest of the summer, which is why I am counting down the days, and we have 56 days until the Baltimore Ravens play the Chicago Bears in the Hall of Fame game, and that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Red O. Mr. LeBron. Come on home, baby. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. And that's my confirmation bias.
Now I'm Ambassador Chef Curry. If you want to be considered one of the all-time greats in your sport, you have to rise above adversity. You have to play your best when the games matter most. You have to win a championship, and you can't make excuses. And it's obvious who I'm talking about here. Mr. Alex Ovechkin. And that's my confirmation bias.
Welcome to Confirmation Bias, hosted by the League Ambassadors. As a reminder, please check us out on all social media platforms on our handle at The League AM, as well as our website, theleagueam.com, where you can find all of our content, our flagship NFL podcast, 32 Kings Road, and also our blog spot, Diplomatic Immunity, where you, the fan, can drop your fire, spit your bars as it pertains to the world of sports. All of those of you who are watching us on Facebook Live, please share the stream. And also, please remember to send us any questions or comments that we can attempt to address at the end of our show in our own segment, Diplomatic Immunity. And please download the podcast, Confirmation Bias, wherever you listen to podcasts. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel under the banner League Ambassadors. This is episode 53 of Confirmation Bias. Today, we will discuss the effect of burner accounts in sports, potential pony history, and the sweet science. So let's get right into it with our hot topics. Ambassador Junior Blue, what it do?
Hot topics. Well, we are talking about burners here. Brian Colangelo, the former GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, got caught with burner accounts, basically giving out information, medical information about players.
Talking shit about players.
Talking shit about other GMs in the league. From burner accounts with Twitter. Now, the first thing, he denied it. And then it came out that it was his wife who had... Now, my question is this. Does anybody here believe it was his wife?
The fact that he threw her under the bus is cold.
Oh, yeah, he definitely did that.
He said, nah, I didn't know she was doing it. She was doing it to protect me.
Plausible deniability.
Fuck out of here.
So basically, he resigned today because of the allegations. Do you think that incoming free agents will look at the 76ers front office like, what the fuck are they doing?
Depends on their next hire.
So they most likely will enter free agency without a GM unless they do it in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I think their head coach is Brett Brown is filling in as the interim until they make a permanent hire.
I mean, I think it helps that they fired him.
Absolutely.
You get rid of the problem because it was looking like for a second that they may keep him, which was the strangest thing. And I think now it came out that Pops was making threats to the team.
He tried to pull that Jay Prince card.
I mean, he said he was going to call other teams, other GMs, and mess up the 76ers name if they didn't keep his son.
Well, to me, that speaks to, all right, how often has Pops done that?
Right.
I mean, if this is the only time that it was picked up and it's been let to be known, which leads to another question that I have. Before the advent of social media, how did teams go about doing shit like this before? I mean, because there's reasons why teams or people within the organization would do this, because maybe they want to get a better pick, or grudges. Billionaires hold grudges. I mean, what other ways could they have done this shit now? Before.
I mean, I read a story saying that he was known for this around the league, so
Right.
it was no surprise when it actually came out. The problem is just like when anything comes out, it came out. Right. Like, people forget Kevin Durant had a burner.
Well, he started it.
No, he didn't start shit. He got caught.
He was
He
the first.
got caught,
He was the
right.
first to get caught.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Which is it's weird though, because his wife is obviously the fall girl in this instance, but that's alarming because either he knew everything and didn't say anything, or he didn't know, which you get to another question, like they must have a snitch in house then if he didn't know, because who's supplying her with all this information
Right.
where she can talk about players' medical conditions, trash other GMs. It's just
No,
it's
it's
ugly
piss-
all
it's
around.
pillow
a black
talk.
mark on the Colangelo name too.
Well,
Right.
at this point, they're trying to save the legacy of their name, and we don't believe you. You need more people.
But it's Pop still the head of USA basketball?
Not sure.
I don't know if he is.
Okay.
But
Thought he was.
my question is this though: what do you gain by doing this? Like, what was his end game?
What was her end game?
I'm sorry, air quote. What was the end game? What was he trying to accomplish with that?
I mean,
Was he trying to motivate players? That shit was not working.
it could have been one thing we know, Twitter is an effective tool if used correctly.
Yeah, you can win you the presidency.
So right. So if he whatever his goals were, I would assume the use of the burners was to go towards whatever the goal was. I just don't know what it was.
He had to get shit off his chest.
I hope he wasn't just King Petty like that. Jesus.
But isn't it legal action that can be taken because he was talking about medical records, basically?
Which is why he probably put it on his wife. The most importantly, because there can't be legal action on her part if she just overheard a conversation and then put it out there.
Well, let me ask this though: does it matter? Does it have to be specific? Because all he said was someone failed a physical, right? Or
Right.
So, is that?
But if that's not common knowledge,
Well, I actually think I don't think that has anything. I don't think that's illegal, because if you did it for the team can put that out there. The team has put stuff out there before about players, unless there's something saying they have an agreement. But I don't think that's something you should just do. Period. As a GM, because your reputation is everything. If you're trying to recruit players to come to, and your team has a lot of money.
I want to know what he really thought about Fultz. I wish he could. I wish he could have gave
didn't
more
she-
tweets about
didn't
that.
she
Oh my
tell
bad.
us?
I needed more though.
Yeah.
Needed more. All right, on to boxing. We were supposed to have
Good
a
night.
mega fight with Triple G and Canelo. That didn't happen because of tainted meat. And now they were talking about September for rescheduling. And then all of a sudden it was off. Now, who's to blame for this?
GGG
He's to blame for?
for the fight being off now. It's
In
all
September.
His fault. It's all his fault.
How's that?
Because he tried to big dog Canelo as if he was somebody else, and it doesn't matter that he was caught for PEDs. He is still the main draw. He is still the lion's share of why people are watching this fight. Because when he doesn't fight Canelo, no one watches his fights. So Canelo and Oscar De La Hoya rightly stood their ground like he should, and said, no, we're not going to do 50-50.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but we wouldn't even be in a situation if someone didn't have tainted meat.
So what?
So, I mean,
I'm not. So what? Now, you still want to fight me, right? So are you telling me because?
so you're supposed to fail a drug test,
so
and now you
am
still
I
hold the
supposed to
cards?
not look out for my best interest? Yes.
And not
because
gonna look out for mine? 'Cause
Yeah.
you-
Okay. Go fight somebody else.
Marty DeRozan.
We already know what your because De La Hoya knows he has the top card. He knows it. You don't fold when you know you are the one in charge. You can't.
And you're going to catch those hands.
What was the split for the cancel fight?
Not sure. Probably 70-30.
And so he wanted to come back because of the failed test and say 50-50.
Yes. And I, again, if I'm De La Hoya, no, go fight somebody else. Go try and get 100,000 people to watch your fight. You know, like, he doesn't get a lot of viewers.
Well, that's the fight that obviously all of us want to see. So if they don't fight each other, what's the next best option for either one of them?
Well, right now, there's another middleweight titleist in the UK, Billy Joe Saunders. He holds the WBO strap. He was supposed to have a fight this month, and he backed out alleging a injury.
Which means he probably fights Canelo.
Which means he probably fights Canelo
in September. There are a lot of options. It's a good division. Like I said, GGG, this was part of his retirement package, which is why he wanted that fight so bad. And he can fight anybody. He can fight the Charlo brothers, not the Charlo brothers, Big Charlo. And there was somebody else.
He can fight Danny Jacobs.
Jacobs again, which was a good fight.
He can also fight Saunders.
But he won't make the money he was going to make.
Any of those fights pay-per-view? Charlo, Saunders.
With GGG?
Yeah.
No. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Canelo, every fight is May and September pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then to make it worse, GGG was stripped of his WC belt.
IBF belt. So the only way it could be pay-per-view and it wouldn't be over here is if he went over across the pond and fought Saunders.
It'd be pay-per-view over there.
It would be pay-per-view
and
over
then,
there.
Would he get 50-50 then?
He'd probably get the lion's share.
Going over there?
Yeah, because he's going to travel over. He used to fight over there, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I would think Saunders will be the draw over there.
The hometown would be behind him, but Triple G would still be the draw.
It's different for Canelo. Canelo is proven his numbers are ridiculous. So
yeah.
All right, this weekend, speaking of boxing, we have 3 fights coming up. We have Charlo Trout, Crawford versus Horn, and Cruz versus Morris. Who do you guys have winning Charlo versus Trout?
Charlo.
Easy?
No, Trout is never going to be an easy fight. I mean, I hope he goes away. There's a couple boxers in boxing I hope go away. He's one of them. But he's when he's on, he's on. It's going to be a good fight. But he probably gets a chin check.
Okay.
Iron sharpen iron.
I don't necessarily want him to go away. I think he's a good fighter. Everyone he's lost to has been actually really, really good. I think that he showed his age in the last fight after winning the majority of the fight, but he let Hurd walk him down, and then Hurd got to him and stopped him. But I think smaller Charlo, younger Charlo, is the better Charlo right now, and I think...
Which is insane to say.
Right. So I think he actually comes away with a victory, and maybe a late stoppage.
So does this make Charlo a star? Is Trout a gatekeeper right now?
I wouldn't. He's on the line.
After this fight, once he loses, he's a gatekeeper.
Especially if he gets knocked out.
Yes.
Okay.
Or what they call a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Right, well, Crawford versus Horn.
Stop it. Fuck it.
Well, out of all the fights this weekend, Crawford and Horn are the only 2 that I've seen fight. And because I'm rooting for anybody black this weekend, Crawford. But in all seriousness, Crawford is the more talented fighter. I'm sure that's agreed across.
He's one of the best fighters in the world.
World.
Yeah. One of the best I've seen as of late too. So yeah, I think this is a wash.
I mean, he's top 5.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Does it go past 6 rounds?
I think it does. I think this is a good test for him. I think his skills are going to show that he's too much for him. But Jeff Horn is a physical, rugged,
awkward,
he's very awkward,
and he has a chin.
Yeah, because Manny
he's gonna get his ass whooped though. let's not get that twisted.
It's gonna be one of those like 10 rounds, like you got to show me something or I'm gonna stop the kind of fight. I mean, I know you're not hurt, but
better get in there.
What's the bug-eyed ref will be in there?
Oh, Steve, I forget his name, the dude, but he's always in New York. This one's in Vegas, so he won't be there. I don't think.
Do we get a Crawford Spence fight anytime soon?
I hope not.
Within the next 2 years.
I like Crawford. I don't want to see him do that to himself.
I think that's a super fight, though.
I do. I think it has to happen.
Yeah.
But Spence said it. Spence said, because they asked him, they was like, you don't bring up Crawford whenever you talk about people who you want to fight, and he said, because it's a lot of fighters on my side, I'm gonna clear all these out. He gonna clear all those out, and then we gonna fight. So the plan is there. It's gonna happen, and then Spence moves up.
Yeah, after he beats him, if that's his
and
last
if
fight,
they do it right and everything goes, that will be a super fight when it happens.
it'll be a super fight.
So finally, we have Cruz versus Mares. I believe Santa Cruz won. Was it last August?
No, it was a couple years ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And by a majority decision. Couple years later, same thing.
I think the same thing. I don't think Abner hasn't grown. He's getting a little he's showing some decline. The thing with Leo, man, like he throws punches nonstop.
He never stops.
He just never stops. And at that height in that division, like his length just gives everyone problems. Like he's only like 5'7", but he looks like he's 6'15" in there.
It's weird though, right?
Right.
And the fact that he never stops punching, it's hard to deal with.
Yeah, it is.
Of these 3 fights, is there any one with a gun in your head you say is a likely upset?
The last one.
The last one. Just because Abner's top 3 of those people fighting, probably.
Omar.
It's on you.
Did it? It's on me. All right, it's time for Black versus Blue. Up first, we got my man KD. He had an amazing game. Pretty much probably ended the series. I think, what is it, 43 points?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it hope or hype that KD snatched the MVP that was already going to Curry?
I think it's hype. Curry had the better first 2 games. He struggled, last night, but he did have and remember after the first game, we was like, KD, where you at? What you doing? They won in spite of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I still think he holds it. Now, if he flops tomorrow night, then I think KD shows out again.
That's
then
what I
KD
was gonna
gets
say.
it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd have to have like another 30, 40-point game, and Steph would have to be, scoring-wise, would have to be limited like he was, for KD to take the Finals MVP. But, I mean, as much as people rag on, like, Steph had a bad shooting night, overall, I think if you look at basketball as a whole, he had a pretty impactful night in terms of defense, pace, the assists, and then he actually hit that momentum-changing 3 late in the fourth that basically just took Cleveland's heart out. But, again, I think KD has to go nuts, and Steph has to have an average night tomorrow for that to even be the case, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a wash. I know we're supposed to pick one, but I think if you look at it like a series, both of them were 2-1, right? Like you said, like he had a better 2 games. Durant played an efficient number 2 game, and then
Very
number 3,
efficient.
he carried the team.
And he was still efficient.
Yeah, and he was efficient last night too, efficiently killing. I think it depends who plays better in the closeout game.
Right.
I truly believe. I think
And
it's up in
that's
the
what
air.
I believe.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, whoever plays the best this game is the one who can get it.
So we're all on board that this is the last game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is over. This is over tomorrow.
Even LeBron is on. My man said, "Well, they got 2 MVPs over there. They got this. My team can't match that." Like he was just out there telling the truth, speaking truth to power. He didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. Moving on to the next one. Mr. Justify. He has a chance to make history by becoming the 13th Triple Crown winner at the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. Is it a hit or flop? Will people tune in to see this history?
I think it's a hit because it's only 3 minutes of your time, ladies and gentlemen. Pour yourself a drink, nice old glass of scotch or whiskey, whatever you prefer, and just watch the 3 minutes. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way, it's history. It's a hit. Tune in.
First off, I'll be at Jump Zone. Second,
With his orange socks.
Exactly, orange socks on. Second, why is it gotta be a 2-hour lead up to this 3 minutes?
Cause all the betting. Are you kidding me?
Betting can happen anytime.
But
2 hours,
there's,
though?
there's other horse races that people are betting on to lead up to it.
see.
It's an event.
I need Bleacher Report, Score Mobile to give me a 15-minute update before the race happens.
I was about to say, Les must not watch Peaky Blinders. It's a race inside the race. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
a couple of them.
If we was behind closed doors.
For me though, it's a hit because I think history will actually be made. I think the Triple Crown will be accomplished this weekend, especially if you look at the history of it within the last 100 or so years. If you looked at, there was Triple Crown winners happened in bunches. It was 3 times in the 30s, 4 times in the 40s, 3 times in the 70s, and then 37 years later in 2015. So I think we got to stretch here the next 2-3 years to where it could happen once or twice. If not, then we got to wait another 30, 40 years. And at that time, Omar would be what, 70?
Yeah,
And,
80.
You know, my point exactly. So if history's going to happen, it's got to happen now, or he may never see it.
I mean, and by that time, we might figure out what the girl upstairs' name is.
Oh,
So moving on.
Don't want DeMarco.
All right, so my man T.O., man. T.O. just Terrell Owens. He can't quit.
Hey, I want you to answer this first, honestly.
He can't quit while he's ahead, man.
Mm-hmm.
So Terrell Owens decides out of the blue to say he's not showing up to the Hall of Fame for his presentation going into the induction ceremony. I mean, who does that? For one thing. Now, we all know his history. He's strange. Is it newsworthy or nothing to see here? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I want you to go.
Yeah,
first.
it's newsworthy. This shit is insane.
Because
He's looking. I don't know, man. Like, come on, T.O., you made it. Like, you did it. Just come chill, get it over with. Stop trying to stretch this shit out. Please, your time is done. Accept it. I get it. You think you had more time left, and I agree with you because he is one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. And I know he was strange, and I know he did all things, but he didn't kill people. He didn't kneel. He came to play. And
He's the Kanye West of the NFL. That's exactly.
And he just it's newsworthy because as far as I know, this has never happened.
I couldn't find anything.
But it should be nothing to see here because at this point it's time for you to go away.
Oh, I think it's absolutely newsworthy for the simple fact that he bitched and moaned the 2 times he did not get in and made a big stink
Deservingly
about it.
bitching and moaning.
I'm not saying that he was wrong. I'm just saying for him to complain about it, to now say he doesn't have anything to do with it. And about him still trying to play, I heard he said he could still run a 4.5, which is insane because he's 44. But I think that him writing that letter or whoever wrote it was very eloquent.
Because it was not him.
It was very eloquent.
Well,
And
his two agents are sisters, so they probably wrote that.
yeah, I thought that was well put. The letter doesn't come off as childish or like an asshole.
So we know it wasn't him.
So right, but we know he is, or he has that.
Newsworthy, basically because of the same thing. He bitched and complained to get there. And in true T.O. fashion, not showing up, now we know why he didn't get in the last 2 years.
It's true contrarianism. It's like Skinny wrote the letter.
Yeah, and I think it's newsworthy, but like Les said, it's almost as though it justifies how they've treated him up until this point. My only thing is I wouldn't want to regret this 10, 15 years from now if I'm him.
And he will.
Which I think he would. And if anything, if you feel slighted, get your Michael Jordan on and use this platform as a chance to talk your shit. I mean, throw everybody under the bus, walk off, drop the mic, and leave it at that. You one-up them that way, not by not showing up at all. That's unfortunate.
Because everybody's going to listen.
I actually think part of it is he still thinks he can play.
He
He knows it's over at that moment.
Do any of you guys remember the preseason games with the Seahawks? Where he could not catch the ball at all?
Yeah, like
that
4
was
or 5
it.
drops.
That was a wrap. He didn't play again.
It's time to go.
So you run a 4.5, you can't catch.
Doesn't then you go play for the Raiders.
Oh,
Omar taking shots.
Damn.
I'll take that.
All right, last but not least, our diplomatic immunity segment where we get questions and contributions from our wonderful and valued viewers. We're going to start off with our great friend, Mr. Paul from Minnesota.
What did he do, Paul?
Paul said what's popping.
No,
he has
he
a
did.
really good question, hopefully that we can answer. He wants to know if Ambassador Kenyon left us and joined First Take. It's been a week. I heard he was taking care of grown man business, but I mean, you know how rumors spread.
I will testify and say he is taking care of grown man business.
Man, listen, let that man live.
Let him live. He will return soon.
All right. Next, do any of you foresee the Caps not going down the street if they happen to pull out the Stanley Cup Finals to visit the White House?
Aren't half of them Russian?
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
So yeah, they'll
what
be
I'm
there.
saying,
We know they'll be
We know
there.
they'll be there. They got the plug.
That's their man.
That's their president, B.
He's going to invite Putin.
That's their man. So they'll be there.
Now, news came out today that Patriots Julian Edelman is facing a 4-game suspension. So with several players now facing suspension with this upcoming NFL season, we got Reuben Foster, Vontaze Burfict, Thomas Davis, Mark Ingram, Edelman, as I mentioned. Which of those suspensions do you guys think will hurt their respective teams the most?
Give it again real quick.
Burfict, Thomas Davis with the Panthers, Mark Ingram with the Saints, Edelman with the Patriots. And, of course, Reuben Foster, who, yeah.
Burfict is going to be tough. Edelman will be tough, but, it's the freaking Patriots, so,
They play without him.
I think Ingram actually. I know
Kamara.
Kamara will, but Kamara won't get that rest. He'll be the bell cow then, and
It's for 4 games. So, I mean, I can't.
4 games you can get hurt.
True.
So, I mean, I think he's important to the offense.
Burfict is important to that defense.
Yeah, but he always misses games.
For one reason or another.
Yeah, one reason or another. Whether it's
And
concussion.
one last thing I wanted to throw in there personally, we talked about the 76ers situation. They don't have a GM. Is there anybody out there that strikes you guys as somebody they should go after? I personally think they should give Joe Dumars a call. I don't know why he hasn't been employed since he left Detroit.
Because they were terrible.
I mean,
there's a few names that pop out there. I mean, David Griffin, why not?
That will give them a better shot at LeBron.
Yeah.
Or give the man his job back.
They're not going to. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. But there's a couple people that I thought that was interesting. The assistant GM for the Celtics, you've been under Danny Ainge all these years. I believe his name is Mark Zarin. And then some other interesting candidates that I wouldn't think of off the top as GM candidates, but Elton Brand, who is a GM for their G League affiliate.
He was born a GM.
Yeah, he did go to Duke.
He went to Duke.
Malik Rose, who is Philly born, and he was the G League Executive of the Year. And then a name I haven't heard until today. A coworker were talking about it. I haven't heard in 12 years. Trajan Langdon.
Trajan Langdon.
Damn.
He's a Nets assistant
What is
GM.
that,
Here's the
Alaskan
thing.
assassin?
Yeah.
I almost think, I don't want to say they have to get a name, but I think where they're at, they're on that. It's a weird place to be.
I don't think they can get a rookie.
They
GM.
can't get it wrong, because if they get it right, it's a
then
wrap
Griffin
for
is
They can't get a rookie GM. Not with what they already have and what they want to be. They're right there. If LeBron leaves Cleveland, when LeBron leaves Cleveland, you're really just sitting there with the Celtics and Philly, and that's it. So they can't go with. I would love to see Elton Brand. Him slide in there and start.
Or
his
at the
career.
very least, he needs to be. I can see him being the moving over to as a
Assistant GM or
yes,
something like that.
yeah.
To be groomed.
yeah.
So I have a question. Kenny Smith. They were talking about him for the Pistons job, head coaching job. Why would Kenny Smith want to leave that job he has?
Bored.
Really? Like you want that life?
That pressure.
Yeah, like I don't see how someone leaves a cushy job, making great money.
With no pressure.
You're home every night.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have seen his wife.
Yes, I have.
But you're home every night.
I even seen the show when it was on.
Exactly. Okay.
Leave it
And he's a pretty good analyst. At the job he
exactly.
has
And he's
now.
good at what he does. So
Somebody
you really
need to
want
teach
them
him how to
long
wear
nights?
a suit properly, but it's cool.
I think it comes down to the fact that these guys are A-type personalities, right? And they're competitive, and they want something to push them. I mean, he was retired at 30-something years old. He's in his mid-40s. He hasn't been challenged after he mastered this analyst thing for years. And can you imagine being done with like your career that young?
And plus,
A lot of time on your hands.
And plus, you do get tired of stuff. He may be tired of that. Of
Jumping between Chuck
Shaq,
and
yes, and
Shaq every night.
yeah, like and
Being the voice of reason.
He can get that. He can get that type job for that money whenever he's ready.
Yeah, he can come out and do that.
So if he
know what's funny though, I honestly think that if the 76ers weren't in a position that they're in with the pressure, the expectations, correct me if I'm wrong, they have 2 first-round draft picks this year. I don't think Colangelo would have been fired if they were still a 20-win team. I don't think it would have happened.
Because
But
they
now
wouldn't
that they
care.
know exactly. But now that they know what's pending in terms of free agency, the draft, the fact that they could be the best team in the East, kind of happened at the right place, wrong time.
But one thing, as the Lakers can attest, free agents have to trust the management. And if they don't trust you, they will not come.
Which is why it was a good move for them to actually get rid of him and pay the private investigator or the exclusive investigator to find out what he did and what happened, and to actually listen to his suggestion to get rid of his ass or to part ways mutually. And as far as parting ways, it's about time for us to go ahead and do that. Thank you for joining us here on episode 53 of Confirmation Bias. Again, check out our website, theleagueam.com. Our handle on social media is at theleagueam. Check out Diplomatic Community on our website. Talk your shit. Liking is cool, but sharing is caring. We will catch y'all next week. Peace.
Righteous. Oh.